All right. Well, let's do this Nitro report. This is going to take a while. It always does.
I took a lot of notes on this show.
This show sucked.
Oh, did it ever?
Fuck me. This show was horrible.
I'm beginning to wonder why I went there.
Dude, you want to know why you went there, Lance? I'm going to answer this for you, and I'm not you. Because you weren't watching the fucking show.
That's true.
That I believe that was a big factor.
There you go. There's no way if you were watching the show you would have gone. Although, I guess they offered you a lot of money, so maybe you would have. But
there was a good offer, but it's getting close. I'm only a few weeks away.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
I can't wait to see this. All right, so a bunch of stuff happened on Thunder.
Hey. I got to give it the proper
I'm sorry.
People need to know.
Please.
Brian. Monday Night Raw number 244, May 22nd.
Nitro.
I'm sorry. Monday Nitro number 244. Brian, please get your head out of your hands. May 22nd, year of our Lord 2000. They were in Grand Rapids, if that helps.
Didn't I tell you no more year of our Lord?
Yeah, I don't pay attention.
I don't need this controversy. So a bunch of stuff happened on Thunder. God forbid.
About 6 months worth of stuff happened on Thunder.
They showed clips of the world champion Ric Flair collapsing at the end of Thunder, and they also showed dissension in the New Blood.
Yeah.
Fair enough?
That's about what happened.
Okay. Russo, Jeff Jarrett, David Flair, and Liz arrive at the building behind a hearse. They are all in black and dressed for a funeral, the funeral of Ric Flair's career.
Yeah, Flair collapsed. They're going to have a funeral on this show. Russo's got the belt. What a start. Hey, you know what I noticed here on this show? Lance will understand this as a listener to Wrestling Observer Live. They opened up the show, they blew up half the building with pyro.
Yeah.
They blew up thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of pyro. And you want to know what happened? They still lost in the ratings, and they lost the wrestling war. This pyro didn't mean jack shit here at the end.
I've been listening to Wrestling Observer Live as well, Brian.
Thank you, Craig.
Okay, we get Booker T versus the Cat in a weapons match. The announcers explain that it's not just a weapons match, it's a martial arts weapons match.
Why were Booker T and the Shat fighting in a martial arts weapons match? Was this explained?
No. So, Cat gets a heat immediately by hitting Booker in the face with a martial arts chair.
Yeah. They talked about how Shad is Bischoff's son's Garrett's karate instructor. They finally revealed that on the air.
Yes.
I'm like, dude, you kidding me?
Cat finds some martial arts sticks and
nunchucks and sticks.
Kendo stick. Booker delivers a bookend and a sidekick for his comeback, and then he hammers away with a kendo stick until Sean Stasiak runs out to help the Cat. Cat did a cartwheel kick into a chair onto Booker's face. Then the Misfits hit the ring. I'm sorry. Booker T was pinned after the chair in his face. I apologize.
Yeah, Shat pinned Booker T.
Yes. And then the Misfits come down. Major Guns is going to give Booker CPR. But then Bischoff and Kimberly interrupt.
Now, before we get to all of this, so the night before, there was a WWE pay-per-view where they promised a 60-minute Iron Man match, and they went 60 minutes, and the finish was the title changing hands on DQ, and fans were furious because that's a shitty finish. And so, this was WCW's bright idea on this show. We're not going to do any disqualifications. We're going to give the fans what they want. They don't want shitty finishes. They want pinfalls. And so up and down this show, they did in fact give us pinfalls in all of these matches, but they also managed to give us really fucking shitty finishes up and down this show. Yeah, and this was one of them.
Yeah, just because it's a pinfall doesn't make it good.
Did you mention that Sean Stasiak ran in and that's why the finish occurred this way?
I did.
He hits the ring. It's just, this was bullshit.
And also, too, just because it's going to play in later, it's like they've obviously developed a prop department that can make fake weapons and stuff. Mm-hmm. Shat's hitting poor Book in the head and the back with these sticks, with nunchucks. Like, Book took, a dozen weapon strikes to the head. And again, they're gimmick things, I'm assuming.
Have to.
But there's an angle coming later on the show. I don't know why everyone else on the show is taking dozens of shots to the heads with weapons.
Anyway, when Eric did come out, he offers the Misfits a spot in New Blood. And
he wants to recruit Booker into the New Blood, which I guess means he's a millionaire. So
sure.
My question is, does he have to give up all of his money? How does this work?
I think there's neutral people. I think there is the millionaires faction.
Right.
There's the New Blood faction, and then there's still just a bunch of WCW guys. It's like NWO, black and white, red and black, and then the WCW guys.
Huh.
I think.
All I know is Major Guns mooned everybody, which was a pleasant surprise. And then Eric said you signed your death warrant. I guess Booker T wants to remain a millionaire.
Well, he's not officially in the Misfits yet.
No.
He is not G.I. Bro yet.
Yeah, that's clearly coming, apparently.
Is he still just Booker, or did he get the T back?
Well, I know he's Booker. I don't know if he's Booker T. They may have forgotten that. They may not have.
I might have misspoke as well.
I got to tell you something. 2 weeks ago, Eric Bischoff fired the Misfits. And then last week, they were just back.
Yeah.
So, if they fucking forgot that, but they didn't forget that Booker lost the T, I mean, that pisses me off. Fuck.
They show the Millionaires Club arriving. Nash is not there. Hogan says, Nash is late again. Sting says, that's his gizmic.
Yeah, that's what he said.
After the break, Bischoff fires Booker, but he can't fire the Misfits because he has plans for them.
Dude, he fired him 2 weeks ago. What is he talking about?
I don't know, Brian.
Hate this show.
Okay, Russo and company are standing around Ric Flair's casket. It contains one of his robes and a huge prop nose.
Yes.
Which I did get a chuckle out of it. Everyone is sad. Actually, you know what? They did this in TNA with Team 3D. They did almost this exact same thing.
What a shocker.
But it was way better.
In TNA?
Yes.
Wow.
It was funny. Anyway, Daphne and...
well, first off, Terry Taylor and Reed Flair arrive.
Okay, yeah.
Young Reed Flair accompanied by Terry Taylor. And then Daphne comes out, and she is playing the role... Maybe this is where they got Nikki Cross's new character.
Okay. She's
crazy, but then they do a backstage interview, and she calmly says, I pinned the skank last week. I'm the Cruiserweight champion. Crowbar's acting like a baby. He's peeing all over the place. So if he wants to come out, we can handle this Cruiserweight championship situation like mature adults. They go to the ring. I thought, huh.
No idea how Crowbar was an R. Kelly fan. Anyway, Terry Taylor arrives. Sorry. Terry Funk held a press conference earlier today. He said he might be retiring later tonight. You already went over Daphne. We got the Cruiserweight title match, Daphne versus Crowbar.
I'm not going to lie. I kind of like this.
Okay.
Because there was at least a story to it. And the story was, and this is not a good story, by the way, but this is the story. Somehow they both won the Cruiserweight title, but one of them is a man who's not a Cruiserweight, and the other one's a woman. So
let me write that down.
They've got to figure out who deserves this championship. And so I guess they're going to have a fight. And Crowbar is a gentleman, and Daphne, she's David's girlfriend.
She was.
No, she still is. She came out with him tonight.
You're
okay.
Right, she still is.
This story really sucks. But anyway, so he doesn't want to hurt her, but she doesn't give a shit about hurting him.
Right.
So, like, he's trying to do an Indian burn. Their words, not mine.
They're doing thumb wrestling.
She gives him a wedgie. She's doing all these high spots. And finally, he gives her one big splash. And he feels bad about it.
Yeah.
I laid upon her body. I am such an ass. And so he's all sad, and Chris Candido runs down, goes after Crowbar, and then they send Tammy Sitch out there in fucking 10-inch heels.
Yes.
She can barely move, and they get in this brawl, and we get our weekly thong shot, which is now 2 a week, and the ref is letting it go because Mark Madden says the fans want to see finishes. And I'm
relaxing the rules.
Do you fucking people know what a finish is, like a clean finish? Like, it's not just the ref counting 3. You got 4 fucking people in this ring, all fighting in a man versus woman cruiserweight match. What? So, 3 people beat up Crowbar. Daphne covers him. She wins. Now, officially, she is the Cruiserweight champion.
Right.
God damn. This show sucks. It only gets worse.
So then we find out that the kid cam is back. And it films...
Somebody stole it.
Right.
But we don't know who.
Like months ago. We see Tori Wilson basically mounting Horus. She's giving him a massage.
The back mount.
Either way.
And she's massaging him.
Yes.
Front mount would be more fun, Craig. Don't say it's the same thing.
It's definitely not the same thing,
I don't know how
Craig.
you do it. Anyway. Booker T tells the Misfits to stay tuned. He has a plan. GI Bros are coming.
I can't wait.
The destitute and homeless Ralphus and Norman are in the parking lot washing cars for $1 a piece.
It was 90s, Craig. Inflation. It would be at least $5
They're
today.
underselling themselves.
They are? Did you watch this segment?
That's true.
In storyline, why are they filming this?
That also is true.
Well, I think it's because they're at the building and there's cameras everywhere in storyline.
Okay.
And they used to be stars. Maybe they're doing a Where Are They Now feature.
So then we see Kidman. He's yelling at Bischoff and company about Horus. Eric says, you're the one that wanted to hang on the arm of that hot-looking blonde.
You ever notice that Bischoff never says hot blonde? He always says hot-looking blonde. Like every single time he said that. Like it was very important for him to add the word looking.
You can be hot and hot-looking.
Anyway, the point of this is Kidman, who was Tori's boyfriend, Kidman is upset that she is now apparently with Horus.
Yeah. Eric's turning her out.
But he's not mad at her. He's mad at them for putting the two of them together.
Yeah.
Huh. This is a strange relationship. So, Kidman's yelling at Tori that she's enjoying it too much. I guess he is mad at her. And then he says, I'm going to go beat up Horus. You should be the referee or something. And Bischoff is right there, and he pulls off a referee shirt from a referee that he beats up and puts the shirt on Tori.
Yes.
This was such a terrible segment.
Yes.
It was the most badly acted, horrible segment to set up this match.
So then we get Kidman versus Horace Hogan. They brawl to the ringside, and of course Eric Bischoff jumps on commentary because why not? He's calling this internal politics. Two of your guys fighting in the middle of the ring. I guess that is internal. Kidman takes over on the inside, and the camera keeps cutting to Bischoff the whole time. So there's a match going on, but the camera must be on Bischoff.
It's fucking Kidman versus Horus.
Well, there is that. Hogan ends up coming back. I should say Horus. Horus comes back with a big boot and then a choke slam. He then sets up a table. Horus makes his way to the ring, and then Kidman counters with a powerbomb because you don't powerbomb Billy Kidman. Horus is placed on the table. Horus throws Kidman off of the top rope and through the table.
I can't believe we're recapping this much of this
I'm
match.
sorry.
Tell us about when Hulk ran in. Let's jump to the chase here.
Tori is forced to count the pin. Hulk says Eric Bischoff used to be a cool guy.
Wait. We didn't. We're talking about, you wrote Hogan too many times. You're confused.
I did.
Hulk Hogan ran in the middle of the Kidman Horus match.
Yes.
A
He was the
third
one
man runs in.
He was the one that pushed Kidman off the top, wasn't he?
Yes, he
Yes.
starts beating up Kidman. He power slams him off the top through Horus and a table. And then he puts Kidman, his hated rival, on top of Horus, who I guess is also his hated rival, and also his cousin, and he demands she count the pin. So, and by the way, he put his foot on both of them. So, I think he was pinning both of them or something here. So then, yes, he cuts a promo and he says, Bischoff, we were tight for a long time. I used to think you were a pretty cool guy. I hear you running your mouth about a special ref at the pay-per-view. Get any damn ref you want. Far as I'm concerned, you're just a pissant. I'm going to kick Kidman's ass. You little piece of shit. Wow.
That's what he said.
I presume that was bleeped in real life.
I'm guessing so.
So the storyline is it's Hogan versus Kidman at the pay-per-view. If Hogan loses, he must retire. Can you fucking imagine? And if he wins, he gets a championship match at the next pay-per-view. Coming off 5 losses on TV, by the way.
He's been pinned by everybody.
He's fucking been pinned by when he got pinned to get on this show, I was so furious that he got pinned for the 5th straight week. They have lost their minds.
You see Terry Taylor asking Reed, "Are you okay with everything?"
He wasn't.
No. The filthy animals arrive in a lowrider. Ralphus and Ernest Miller offer to wash their car. They agree, and we see the Misfits take notice of their arrival.
I got to talk about this Terry Funk promo.
Okay.
No, hang on. You've overlooked the best part of this segment.
Oh, that's actually next. It's not. That's to come. I know what you're talking about. The bucket switch.
No.
Okay.
The car's got hydraulics.
Right.
Yes.
As Disco's getting out of the car, Conan pops the hydraulics and cracks Disco in the head with the top of the car.
Classic.
It's tremendous.
I missed that.
I did.
That would have been the one good thing on the show. So Terry Funk comes out. He's got a tuxedo and his hardcore belt on. And he says, "I have a very special announcement that is long, long overdue. I wanted someone very important to be here tonight. My daughter, Brandy." Apparently they wanted his wife there, but she didn't want to be involved with this. Smart lady.
Smart woman.
He says, "My daughter's been waiting for this announcement for years, and I promise you my wife at home thinks this announcement is way overdue." Eric's watching backstage, and he sends out the troops. He's heard enough. So Shane Douglas comes out and gets on the ramp and says, "Let's get on with this announcement. We got a live show to run here." Funk says, "You want to hear the announcement? You want to hear it real bad?" Shane says, "I'm dying to hear it." Funk says, "The announcement is, it's a boy! I'm a grandfather now!" Everybody in the crowd cheers. That was the best part.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, he's a grandpa. That's awesome." I loved this. So Shane says, "I don't want to hear about your grandchildren. I want to hear that you're retiring." And Funk says, "I think a grandpa shouldn't be in the wrestling ring. They should be in rocking chairs with their grandchildren. And because of that, I will be retiring June the 1st. I talked to Brad Siegel, and Brad cried when he heard that I was retiring on June 1st. And I will be retiring on June 1st. June 1st, 2001, because Brad Siegel extended my contract one more year." Shane is outraged. Shane Douglas, not McMahon.
Right.
Says, "I'm going to go retire your goddamn ass right now." So all the heels hit the ring. They go after Funk. They beat the shit out of him. Brandy hits the ring. Tammy is there trying to keep her away in 10-inch heels. She can barely do it. They give Funk a stuffed pile driver on a chair. Candido counts to pin. Gives the belt to Douglas. Douglas leaves. We have no idea if he's a champion or not.
No.
It's Nitro, so he very well may be. He shouldn't be, but he could be. I thought this was great. It was a good heat angle. I mean, it's amateur hour with Brandy in there, but it's like there's a lot of amateur hour on this show. I thought this was a nice, fun angle, mostly because of Terry Funk, and because he did swerve me twice in his promo. He's so good.
Did you notice they made Tammy put shorts on under her dress?
Really?
Yeah, I did notice that. Actually.
Too much thong?
I think there was just a little too much ass in the previous segment.
Oh, man, yeah. Maybe they've got a quota.
Two cheek maximum.
You floss twice a day, we can only have floss on the ass twice a day. We've had 2. There was Major Guns and Tammy. That's the 2.
Thank you, Brian.
Now they got to cover up.
So the Misfits come out to give Ralphus and Norman Smiley a hand washing cars. Guns distracts Ralphus, and Major Stash switches the buckets that they're using to wash the car.
Major Stash. Right, Lance?
Yes.
Private
Major
stash.
Private Stash. Should be Private Stash.
Yeah, but it ain't.
Seriously, until they explained it to me, it's like I kept wondering, it's like, he doesn't have a large mustache. How is he Major Stash? I didn't get the gimmick until they explained to me that he wouldn't be the lowest ranked guy.
Yes. Yes.
He's a 10-year veteran.
So we get clips of...
Can you imagine? I once interviewed Jerry Jarrett. This was around the time that Russo was in TNA, and he was doing all these interviews talking about how it took him 30 hours to write Impact every week or some number like that. And I'm interviewing Jerry Jarrett, and the question was something like, you ever spend 30 hours writing a 2-hour television show? And there was like a pause, and He said something like, I would be so fucking embarrassed if it took me 30 hours to write a television show. And I think about Major Stash, and it's kind of like, fuck. Why would you even say you've been in this business 10 years? Can you imagine? Like, I'd say I just started.
Then you might think he's not bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. So then we get clips of Canyon on Thunder. He is doing an interview from his hospital bed. He is rigged up with a back brace and a halo.
He's not sure he'll ever wrestle again.
He is not sure he will ever wrestle again. And he says he said, it's not when I walk again, it's if.
Oh, man. More on Wednesday.
So here's Mike Awesome. He comes down to the ring. He is in a wheelchair, also sporting the back brace and halo. He mocks Canyon for being out of wrestling. He says he wants Paige. Instead, the Wall comes out. So now they have, and I quote, Wall versus Mike Awesome in a tables versus ambulance match.
Jesus God.
What does that even mean?
Well, I think it meant that Wall had to go through a table, but Awesome had to be put in an ambulance.
That's ridiculous.
The ambulance is backstage, by the way, so
Be the
Wall's
other way
at a
around, wouldn't it?
disadvantage. Well, all I know is Wall went through the table, so he lost.
Ah, okay.
So that must have been the stipulation. Which, by the way, he gets thrown over the top rope through a table and loses.
Yes.
And then leaps to his feet
Yes,
and
he
brawls
did.
to the back with Mike Awesome.
He no-sold the table bump.
They're talking about how the Wall is indestructible, he can't be beat. And I'm like, I just fucking watched him get beat. And I saw him get beat a couple of weeks ago, too. Then Douglas beats the hell out of Wall with a pipe.
Yep.
So I guess he's not indestructible. They go to throw him in the ambulance, but DDP makes a save. He tosses Awesome into the ambulance. Maybe DDP won the ambulance match. And the ambulance just drives off. And then Wall and Douglas start to brawl, and Wall starts choking him, and he goes, I'll kill ya! And they cut away.
The fight after the match went 4 times as long as the actual match.
And Wall took like 4 lead pipe shots to the face.
No, sold all of it. He's indestructible.
Now, maybe the stipulation of the match is a play off the Kevin Nash Mike Awesome match, because they had the ambulance match that ended with a table break.
You know, I hadn't thought of that
I didn't even remember that.
last week.
We almost killed him with that powerbomb off the corner of the
Oh,
stage.
God, that's right. That's right. But that was different because you didn't have to throw the guy in the ambulance. You just had to render
You're
him.
supposed
No,
to.
he
It was an
couldn't.
ambulance match.
He couldn't throw him
That's true.
onto the table.
It all sucks.
So then we cut to a casket being brought to the ring. So Shane and Awesome are also there.
Well, first, this was when Ralphus appeared and poured paint all over the Filthy Animals car because they'd switched the bucket.
That's what my next notes read. Norman and Ralphus pour whatever it was in the bucket
Paint.
onto the car. It looks like paint.
It was probably paint.
How are they clueless to this?
I don't think it was like whale blubber. It was some sort of white substance, milky. Mm-hmm. So anyway, Russo and his crew came out. You know what's funny?
Tell me.
Russo, here's what I wrote. This is my exact sentence. Russo claims Flair had a brain aneurysm. I think he also called it a brainurism. So I wrote that down, and my spell check flagged aneurysm, but not brainurism.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, says they're going to give the belt back to Jeff. He's given the title. Russo has Flair's Rolex. He's going to bury it along with his career. Goes to open the casket, and surprise, surprise, someone is in there. Is it Ric Flair?
No,
No. It's Kevin Nash.
that's right.
Who can barely get out of this goddamn casket.
Well, he can hardly walk. He's got bad hips and knees.
Jesus, it took him an hour to get out of this casket. It was like he was really rising from the dead. He gets in the ring, he kills all these geeks.
Why was he in the casket?
Dude, fuck.
Like, he climbed
You're
into this
asking me?
thing. He climbed into this thing backstage underneath the lining, laid there for like an hour or 2, so that he could just come out and grab Russo, push him, and then jump. It's like, you could have just walked down the ramp, dude.
I don't know. And the best part was, when they open the casket, you can't see Nash because he's under the lining.
Yes.
And time stands still. And like Russo's waiting for Nash to come out, but he doesn't. So then Russo starts pulling the lining away from the casket. It's like, why would someone do that? Oh, there's a body in there. It's Kevin Nash. The nose is gone. Should have made a biblical reference to noses while you were doing this review, Craig.
Noses.
All right, let's talk about this Steiner promo.
Well, first we had this smoke show of a blonde trying to interview Vince Russo.
Pamela Paulshock.
Yes, I'm a fan. He tells Nash that he has 45 minutes to give the title back, or it's a no-holds-barred match. With who?
Who cares?
No, I think he said it was Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, did he?
I think so.
Russo is getting more and more screen time every week. I
Yes.
noticed.
The show's getting worse.
Scott Steiner's freaks are dressed up as University of Michigan cheerleaders. They bounce their way down to the ring. Steiner talks about...
Excuse me, Rob. You made a horrible noise. Yes.
Who was the third freak? They
I
never
don't know.
acknowledged her. She was just there.
Yeah, she wasn't dressed like the others.
All
Yes,
right.
Rob.
Yeah, he's just
Okay.
Michigan thing, I'm sure.
Oh, that's right.
Sports
He's an Ohio
bullshit.
State guy. Yeah.
Come on.
Right. Anyway, Steiner talks about how... This was a crazy promo. Steiner talks about how when the dark side of the moon is out and he turns into an animal and there's nothing finer than down the 69er with Scott Steiner.
They bleeped that on the live feed, but we got to hear it in all its glory on this WWE Network feed. So anyway, here's the story in this cage match.
Oh, boy.
It's Rick versus
Jesus.
Scott in a cage. So Scott says,
Sort of a cage.
I have got a cage that will follow me everywhere that I go. And so they've got this fucking cage hanging from the ceiling. It's fucking, I swear to God, it's a bird cage.
I was going to say, this is what kept Sylvester away from Tweety Bird.
It is a bird cage with no door, and they say there's no way in. Okay? So
Sure.
they lower it down from the ceiling, and it's smaller than the ring.
Yeah, it fits in between the ropes.
So they barely have any room to do anything. Like one of the suplexes, Scott can barely even suplex his brother because there's fucking no room to throw him. So they're doing this match, and Goldberg's music hit, and out comes Tank doing its Goldberg impression. Now, the idea was, this is the idea, I swear to God. Tank comes out with bolt cutters
Yes.
because they say there's no way in, and there's no door, so he needs to cut his way in with bolt cutters.
Right.
Okay. So whoever came up with this idea, somebody else was like, well, if we say there's no way in, and he cuts his way in with bolt cutters,
That's a way in.
that's bullshit. So they're like, fuck, you're right. Okay. Well, we'll have him try to cut, but he can't get in
Okay.
because there's no way in.
Right.
And then he'll beat up the guy with the device, and he'll raise the cage.
That's still a way to get in.
Well, apparently they didn't think that because that's what they did.
Yeah.
He came down, he made 2 cuts with a bolt cutter, realized it wasn't going to work, beat up the guy, and pushed the button, and the cage went up, and he got in.
Yeah. What are you asking me for? I don't know.
Why is wrestling so hard?
It's not. That's the problem.
Fucking Jesus God
This
Almighty.
isn't wrestling.
Fucking gets in there, and they beat him up, and that was it. And then who should run out to make the save? Fucking Kevin Nash runs out again.
The conquering
He's
hero.
all over this show. Can I have less Kevin Nash? I'm sick of it. Then he does a promo.
Yes, he did.
He says, let's do this match tonight. He goes, I got an idea. If I win, I'm the champ. If you win, you're the champ.
Right.
What a fucking idea.
That's a great idea.
So they got Pamela Paulshock there.
Right.
She's the blonde.
Smoke show.
Straight out of fucking WWE. He cuts his whole promo. He comes up with his idea. And then she looks at him and she goes, wow. That's it.
But he challenged him to Bischoff's ultimatum.
Yes.
Right.
It's like, what? This isn't your idea. That's what they said would happen if you don't give up the belt.
With the title on the line. This is a bad show. DDP Chuck Palumbo.
Yeah, they were in the gym, and they showed Luger dumping a protein shake on him. Okay. Next match, Chuck Palumbo versus Diamond Dallas Page.
Jericho and Kane once had a feud over Jericho pouring coffee on him.
Coffee's hot.
You ever had a protein shake?
Yes.
Those things are sticky and gross.
Right?
I'd rather have coffee poured on me.
I don't think you would, Brian.
I promise you.
You think
Let's
coffee...
try it sometime.
Yes. You
For the
think
video site.
Actually, you know what? Brian thinks coffee's icky.
It is icky.
You're a fool.
I'm a
Anyway.
man.
I,
They had a bad match. Mike Awesome ran in. The fucking guy that was thrown in an ambulance and taken away is just back.
yeah.
Hits a fucking guy with a halo for the pin. A halo. They have to go.
So light and so soft.
Yeah.
But he got him with the metal part, they said.
Nah,
Sort of.
they did.
And then Luger's trying to get in the ring, and Kimberly stops Luger from getting in the ring with her great power. Mm-hmm. And then he gets hit in the face with the Lex Flexor, and they say his face has been shattered. He's now put in the ambulance.
His face not as strong as the walls, apparently.
Apparently not. Oh, my God, then this segment. Reed comes out with Terry Taylor, 12-year-old Reed.
This was bad.
So he gets in the ring, and he says, David, I would like you to come out here, please. I can't even do it. He asks, I can't even do it. But he calls out David, and there's a pause, and then Terry goes, say it again. So Reed says it again. There's a pause, and then Terry goes, say it one more time. He says it for a third fucking time. Everyone's bad. And then out comes David with Daphne, now a heel. And Reed says, if there was something I said, I'm sorry. The family wants you back, especially Dad. And so all of a sudden, David Flair is like the most charismatic guy I've ever seen.
Well, yeah.
He starts cutting this promo on Reed. Daphne hits Terry with a statue. Reed low blows David, double legs him.
Yes.
Puts him in a headlock. David just shoves him down, puts him in a figure four leg lock. Geeks run down to make the save. So the original idea was David was going to beat the shit out of Reed, but Reed's 12.
Yes.
And so they were like, you cannot beat the shit out of a 12-year-old.
I bet you Russo scripted it that way.
You can do a figure four, that's it. So that's what they did. The idea was good, but in execution, this was a disaster. This amateur hour stuff has got to end.
So then we have Vampiro versus Hulk Hogan. Vamp comes down to the ring with a blowtorch and a can of gasoline. We are then informed that Vamp will be wrestling Sting in a Human Torch match.
I can't wait for that one.
That'll be at the Great American Bash. Tony then tells us the way you win that match is to light your opponent on fire. Thanks, Tony. Vamp jumps Hogan.
Well, we might have thought it was you to hit the guy with the blowtorch, because that's what happened in this match.
Okay, thanks for stepping on that. Vamp jumps Hogan from the start. They brawl onto the floor. Hogan no-sells a super kick and punches.
Everything.
Throws Vamp over the announce table. The announce table gets knocked over. It didn't break, it just gets knocked over. Finally back in the ring, Hogan is beating Vamp for a solid 4 minutes, and then he hits the leg drop. This brings out Kidman to hit Hogan in the head with the blowtorch to give Vamp the pinfall.
Vampiro pinned Hulk Hogan. This is horrible. It's just horrible.
He's done more jobs, and all of them meaningless, sadly, in the last month than he did in the previous decade and a half.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. And probably going back even longer than that, actually.
The ref was actually looking at Kidman in the ring, holding the blowtorch, and paid it no mind.
They're laxing the rules, Craig. No one wants a DQ.
I understand.
They want clean finishes like this one.
I think you got to go back to like 1979 for Hogan to have done this number of jobs.
You're probably right.
So then Vamp grabs the gasoline and the blowtorch, but Sting hits the ring and cleans house and hits Vamp with a scorpion death drop. Hogan and Sting embrace. And the crowd is shown on the crow is shown on the Nitrotron.
So the filthy animals go outside. They see that their car has been defaced. They beat up Ralphus and Norman. The MIA run in, got a wild brawl. Ralphus is laying there dead.
Yes.
Oh, God.
And the MIA goes, you need to wake him up with mouth-to-mouth.
Major Guns.
And Major Guns, by the way, gave mouth-to-mouth to 54-year-old Terry Funk last week.
That's right.
But she takes one look at Ralphus and she's like, I can't do it.
He has a tooth. Not teeth, a tooth.
She does not want to wake him up.
No.
And the MIA are like,
can you blame her, Brian?
no, you have to. You must give him mouth-to-mouth.
It's her Hippocratic oath.
She's like, no, I don't want to. They're like, no, you've got to kiss Ralphus. I'm like, can you imagine this airing in 2019?
No.
Holy fuck. So finally they force her against her will to go down there and give Ralphus mouth-to-mouth. And as she gets close, he sticks his tongue out. She sees it's a ruse, and she slaps him and storms off. They didn't make her do it in real life.
Good.
But my God, what a segment. That's her job.
This was something.
To be forced into making out with guys she doesn't want to. That's the story.
So then we have our main event, the WCW World Title match, Jeff Jarrett versus Kevin Nash. It is not clear if Jeff Jarrett is defending or the title is vacant.
I think it's vacant.
We don't know. So the bell rings, and then Russo comes down and knocks out the ref and takes his place.
Oh, my God. You'll never guess what we had, everybody. A heel ref who won't just count 3 when the babyface kicks out. In fact, there is a spot where Jarrett waffles Nash with a chair. Actually, first Nash no-sold that chair shot.
Yes, he did.
And goes outside. Later, Jarrett covers Nash. Russo counts 1, 2. Nash kicks out at the last second, and he stops counting. And even Mark Madden goes, why didn't he just count to 3? And I thought, I don't know. Why didn't he just count to 3? Russo maces Nash. Jeff hits the stroke. Has he been using that move, or was this the debut? I don't even remember.
He's been using it.
He's been using it. It looks horrible. It's like the worst bump I ever saw for a stroke.
Yeah, it's almost like the Miz's.
Steiner hits the ring. R&B security handcuffs him to the ropes. Nash beats up all the security. He's going to powerbomb Russo on the cement, and you never guess what happens next.
Actually, you might not be able to guess what happens next, because blood fell from the ceiling, but Nash was not in position, so he had to walk backwards with Russo's head between his legs so he could get a little color, if you will.
This missed Nash by like a mile.
Yeah.
I presume it was Nash's fault, actually, because I presume there must have been somebody who was supposed to stand on it and he missed. But this fucking blood misses him. And it actually might have been Russo pushing him backwards towards the blood. I'm not sure.
It might have been.
But Nash finally gets like some blood on him, and then he's like frozen. And then Jarrett hits him with a guitar and pins him.
Yeah.
And Russo begins to celebrate, also covered in this blood. This blood only affects the baby faces.
Right.
What?
If you want to have a good laugh, go back and watch the blood dropping and look at the fans that are inches away from this red liquid falling. They are disgusted. They are angry.
It's probably shitty, sticky, disgusting, grotesque
I'm sure it was.
blood.
And I guarantee you, Kevin Nash didn't screw up. He stood there on purpose because he didn't want to get this shit on him.
He probably did.
Kevin Nash is no fool.
Well, he got pushed into it at the end, so one way or the other he got covered in this shit. And yeah, it only affects the good guys. What kind of weird blood is that?
It's like Warrior Smoke.
That's right! Warrior Smoke only affected, like, the heels or whatever, not him. Anyway.
So the show goes off the air. We have Jarrett, Russo, and then Eric standing tall on the top of the ramp, gloating and holding the championship belt.
You know what this was? This was every TNA Jeff Jarrett main event that we saw for like 10 more years. Like, there's a million things that happened, a bunch of people run in, it's a bunch of bullshit. Like, this was the beginning of a long-ass run of these kinds of matches in TNA. This show was terrible. Anything else you'd like to add, Lance?
No, it was pretty awful.
Fucking horrible.
Yep.
Can you believe it went out of business? Can you believe you went there in 2 weeks?
I just find it really interesting because, again, I wasn't watching that much. And it's interesting because I didn't realize MIA was just put together. The Filthy Animals were just put together. So it's like, these are all new factions when I'm getting there. I thought they had a little bit more history behind them.
Little did you know.
Little did I know.
Did you ever watch this show back then?
I watched some of it because I know at one point we didn't get, because we don't get TNT, so we didn't get Nitro for a large portion of this. We did by the end, but I watched some of it, but I certainly didn't watch all of it because I didn't know most of this was going on. But I'm waiting for the Nitro girls to come back because they were there dancing between every segment when I got there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah, they vanished for a while. Maybe they're there now, but they only send them out during the breaks.
It's possible.
Maybe, but I thought they always come up from break with them still there. I could be wrong.
Well, we'll find out soon enough. Lance is debuting in a few weeks, everybody. Hey, Lance, let's plug this school.
Storm Wrestling Academy. You can go to stormwrestling.com for my school. I'm the man in the ring with you every day teaching. I'm in session now. Got students from, I think, 7 different countries, maybe 9. It's a lot anyway. I think there's 1 or 2 openings still for September. All of 2020 is still open and available. Sessions in January, May, and September. And you can follow at Storm Wrestling Academy on Instagram or follow me at Lance Storm on Twitter.
Do people have to worry about fake blood in your school? Does it fall from the ceiling at any point?
We haven't had that yet. Nope.
Yet.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, you never know.
There's time.
Yeah.
If we need ratings.
I just realized it's a good thing you're on the show today because I'm not going to be around Friday for our show.
No.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm gone.
You're in Vegas.
I'm in Vegas for StarCast.
Weird.
When am I going to rant about this stupid 24/7 title?
Maybe I'll get you on Observer Live, actually.
Maybe I'll just record a solo rant for like 40 minutes.
You should do a 40-minute solo rant about this 24/7 title. All right, we're out of time, everybody. I want to thank you all for listening. Check out the front page for more. I'll be back tomorrow with Dave. I think Mike's doing Observer Live solo. Not sure, but I'll let you know when I know. And that is it, everybody. We'll talk to you again after a while.
Good night and goodbye.